Alright, this is going to be some thoughts in the form of a review on the Nicolas Winding Refn film, The Neon Demon. Refn directed Drive and Only God Forgives and a few other films that are some people consider to be great films and others consider to be shit. He kind of is never like one to shoot just straight to please the crowd. Like, he makes a film for himself, like what he wants to see in the movie. I've seen a few interviews with the guy, and he's kind of eccentric and a bit of a weirdo, but he's out to make art, I guess. I didn't like Drive overly much. I've only seen it once, and I don't think I watched it really with a critical eye. This review isn't about Drive. It's about The Neon Demon, his latest film, and it's a marvel to behold, for sure. It is a visual experience, a surrealist experience, and a bit of a mindfuck. Starting off first, it's basically about like the modeling world. It was giving me a bit of a Black Swan feeling at times, except just instead of the ballet or whatever, it's like models and, beautiful girls doing what they can to get ahead of other beautiful girls, right? In a cutthroat industry. And that's kind of where the story begins and somewhat ends, right? Like, without really spoiling anything, that's what it's about until it's not about that, and it's about, like, some pretty wild shit that you can't really wrap your head around, and then the film's over, and it kind of knocks you over the head with it, and it's hard to say if whether it's a message or if it's actually just a movie about what you just saw happen. Like I've seen people say two different things, like it's all not all of it, but the ending is kind of a metaphor for Hollywood and what we do to our young or whatever, or even there's somewhat satanic undertones, and you can even say like maybe even Illuminati shit or whatever. Like, there's a lot of triangles in this movie at times, but aside from what it's about or the messages, because you have to watch the film to see it, and it's got some weirdest parts ever that are like, this would be a great movie if it weren't for some very knocking you over the head parts with the strangeness. But like, obviously Refn knew he was doing that. He put that in there. That's his vision. That's what he wanted, right? And I remember Drive had moments like that too, that just felt so different from the tone of the movie. Although these moments do fit the tone. The tone is there the whole way through. This is a creepy, weird movie, but you can't really figure out why until, you get there, right? And you still don't really know why when you leave. But let's just talk about the technical aspects for a sec, because the story is what it is. Like I just said, it's about a young girl who gets to town. She's a model. It's easy to say that this movie is really style over substance. Many people have said that already, and like it's an easy observation. But it's possible that is kind of the point. Like, especially when you consider how much the last act hits you over the head. Like, that whole world, that modeling world, is maybe just the style over substance. Like, they tell you that beauty is the only thing. It's not like the most important thing, it's the only thing. I think that's a direct line, and applying that to exactly what the film looks like, that's pretty much the only thing the film's got going for it at times, is like what it looks like. But man, does it look fucking awesome, right? Like, number one thing is the lighting. Every scene is beautifully lit with tons of pinks and purples and oranges, and it all looks like lighting that they had to set up and use, like gel filters to achieve and shit, and it's gorgeous. The camera work is, never too noticeable. It's not anything too dramatic. The shots are wonderful, though. Like, the shot composition is great. Every shot is just there's so much beauty, like beauty and sexuality in each shot. There'd be like just a lady's leg sticking out from the side of a shot or whatever, or like martini glasses and cameras flashing and, you know, beautiful people doing this and beautiful people doing that, right? It's really like, you know, it's vain at times, right? But you know, that's the world. And it's also very dark, you know. Well, there's dark shots, but it's a dark tonally, you know. It's a dark film. It gets extremely dark and weird in the end, but maintains throughout the whole film like a dark, dreamlike, almost nightmarish quality, like a strangeness that. I wondered when I was watching it like about some of the characters acting, but I feel now it's probably all intentional and it's the direction they wanted. Like, they don't seem to be too impacted by some situations at times. Like, they're screaming and whatnot, but it's all very dreamy, and when serious things happen, they happen, and it's almost like they're like forgotten about or whatever. And I don't know, some of it bothered me. The ending for sure bothered me, but obviously that's the point, right? Like, they wouldn't have made it all so shocking and absurd if they didn't want that to be it. And the beginning of the film's like an art project. It's like a student film, how to shoot fucking sexy lighting and sexy women doing this and that, and like, it's great. It gave me Black Swan vibes. I wanted to see how it was going. I kind of figured it was going where it was going, and then it went like and made me think it was never going where it was going, and then it did get where I thought it was going, but the fucking route they took there was absurd, right? Like, why did we take that route to get there? But man, like the craziest third act that I've seen in a while, it just changed everything. But you did kind of, you knew something was coming. You knew something was coming, right? It's a very sexual film, a lot of weird sex, and like strange sexual situations that, you know, make you feel, I don't know, like you should look away, but you don't because it's intriguing, right? It's kind of hot and intriguing, so you just keep watching. Keanu Reeves is in it for some reason. The main girl, Elle Fanning, I don't think I've seen her in anything. I don't know anything about her, but she seemed to do a good job here. The direction they gave her was pretty good. I thought her performance was well, like, more of that dreamlike behavior. It's a good movie that can be seen in kind of two ways. One, it's this main story that they're showing to you that gets weird and you take it all literal. Or you can see it as sort of symbolizing a higher meaning of like industry, like of like the high arts, like fashion, movies and music and all that, and what they have to go through to get in there and what they have to go through to stay, or at a higher level, what the, you know, higher echelon people have to do there to stay, right? And it's hard to say if it seems like he's really trying to say that, like, you know, it's almost like some Illuminati shit or whatever, but or you can see it as what it is, just this weirdo, absurd story that happened between these girls that got kind of jealous or something. But I don't know. It's a beautiful looking film. This is such a beautiful looking film. And I really liked it up until the third act, and then that threw me for a loop. But that's the point, right? Like, they wouldn't put that in there if they didn't want it to fuck with you. But it like changed your opinion of the whole movie. But I rewatched it a bit, the beginning, and it's still beautiful and good shit. It's weird. It gives me like a David Lynch vibe, and like, you know, or even like some Cronenberg at times, like creepy weird sex and shit. But it was good. I would have gave it a 4, and it threw me for a loop. And even though, you know, like, maybe you can't let that ruin it for you, but it does ruin it for you. Some of it's fucking a bit much. And that's a bit much for me to say too, right? Like, I like a bit much. But this is a 3.5 for sure, maybe a 4 depending on who you are. I don't know, not a 4. It's not actually that good. It's not actually that good. But it's something to look at, it's for sure. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? There's some great lines that are like, I'll remember for a while. And it's like, I don't know. I would say go watch this, but I don't know. is fucked. 3.5 for sure. For sure.